that judgment by the Court of Appeal still stands. Now, back to the other issue, I think that this is where, unfortunately, the court will not settle these things. And we must be gracious enough to tell ourselves some truths. That the political solution initiated by the president, who at what point was this courted? Because the Court of Appeal clearly said something, that the governor and the Rivers State government lacks the jurisdiction to now come for an appeal when they have withdrawn their cases at the lower court. And that brings me back to the lower court. You see, clearly, does the Federal High Court has jurisdiction to entertain that matter in the first place? That matter has to deal with the river. It has nothing to do with INEC. INEC is not involved in that judgment. I will say, okay, there's a federal agencies that needed a federal court to entertain it. It is purely between the government of River State, between the governor, between the House of Assembly and the budget. So at what point were they able to take that first judgment to the Court of Appeal? And so we must ask ourselves here, does truly the Federal High Court has that jurisdiction to first entertain that matter? I think those are some of the things that the Supreme Court will first deal with. But unfortunately, as we stand today, unfortunately, the budget of River State 2024 is null and void by the two courts who have made pronouncement. And then on the other issue about whether INEC is not consistent enough to have conducted the election by the Okojumbo-led House of Assembly, saying, because the truth is that the defection of anybody in a political party does not mean that it is not how do you put it now?
Self-executing.
No, the court has to still step in. It doesn't mean that on a TV, because these are several issues here. Let's even agree that they took the APC flag, they sang the song. I was privileged to be here with someone I can't remember the other day, where we analyzed details what makes somebody a member of a political party. Forget the razzmatazz that was done, forget the fanfare. That person must have gone. It must be before the law that he has gone to a ward and register himself. Any fanfare it does not amount to that person being in a political party. It does not. That person must have registered and a membership card issued to that person. It gives that person authority. It gives that person as a legal member to challenge that association. It could be any association. It could be PDP, it could be APC. So whether they did that at the floor is just fanfare. It has nothing clearly to do if they have defected or not. So if they say they do not defect, I think it is in the wisdom of the APC, managed by our very good man here. Is it Meka Beke now?
The chairman of APC.
Yes, this is a call to him. Publish their record, because he should have it as the person manning the APC. He should have it. If they have actually gone to any ward in itself to register that, okay, we have defected from ABC political party, we are now in CD. Register. It should be clearly there. The fanfare on the what's the name now? At the Hallow Chamber does not mean that person has defected to a political party. That person must have gone to a ward and register, and in return, a membership card would have been given to that person. Just for example, what the PDP is doing, what they just did last, what they call revalidation. Revalidations are, let us also reassess our members, let's know ourselves. And cards were issued to some persons. Some persons that cards were not issued to move to another political party to contest elections. Their chairmen of political parties asked them when they did the revalidation, did they get the card? They didn't. So automatically that nullifies them from being a member of that political party. So the cases are until the Supreme Court would have to decide on these issues. But I think there are other political solutions that we must come to agree. In other words, we must sit on a table like this, whether you like the man's face or you don't like it. It's politics. You must give something and to be able to take another. But unfortunately, For 2024, as it stands today, there is no budget in Rivers State.
All right. You also raised an issue of jurisdiction of the lower court to entertain, the Federal High Court in this instance, to entertain matters pertaining to the Rivers State House of Assembly, the budget, and the state government. Now, I don't know if you recall the judgment of the appeal court with respect to the appeal of when the order of Justice Wali was appealed. Do you recall the judgment of the appeal court? And in part of that judgment, the appeal court clearly stated that the Federal High Court has exclusive reserve of certain cases that pertain to federal institutions, state houses of assemblies, and the executive of the state. The appeal court stated that clearly. Probably with regards to the state budget, because now that's a state document, one may say, okay, this could be what gives the state high court the right to superintend over that matter. But however, the appeal court judgments with regards to Justice Wali's matter, when the appeal court was giving their judgments, they actually outlined what they called exclusive reserve of the Federal High Court.
Yes, you see, my joy is that the state government and the governor has appealed that judgment. But you know, again, the truth is that the governor actually withdrew from that case. So,
you mean the one of Justice Omotosho?
Yes, he actually withdrew.
No, that one is granted. What I'm referring to was the jurisdiction matter.
Yes, I'm building something. You see,
right.
The Court of Appeal has said you have withdrew from this case, so you do not have any local standing to. But you know, Supreme Court is a court of policy. They might go ahead, whether the governor had withdrawn or not. They might go ahead in order to create a law or to set some standards. Or Supreme Court, I trust them. They might go ahead to say, okay, this case should not be like this. What it then means is that whatever ruling or pending in any court dies there once they make that judgment. But I believe, I want to hope that they will be able to set that standard to clear it for other states that want to have issues like this.
All right, fair enough. But it was also important to actually bring
up
the judgments of the appeal court with regards to the concern that you raised. Now, Chizzy, Daniel, you also raised another concern, which I am going to throw to Chizzy right now. Chizzy, we are on your at your own stable right now. Now, Daniel raised a very salient point, which you've answered severally. He said that at no point that televised defection does not translate to what is constitutionally obtainable. And he was saying that if that, let's say it's actually true that these people defected, that Emeka Beke, who has been recognized by the court as the APC chairman of Rivers State, should be able to publish the register. However, if you recall, this televised defection happened when Tony Okocha was the CTC caretaker committee chairman of Rivers State. Now, Chizzy, you are in the State Executive Council of APC. I will ask you this question. Apologies, I'm asking it for the opt-in time, but I'll keep asking as long as the issue keeps coming up. Chizzy, you are privy to the party register, yes?
Yes, very well.
Now, I want to ask you this question for the opt-in time. My apologies again. Martin Samehule and the other lawmakers, the 27 lawmakers in this instance, are they in APC party register?
Okay. Now, let me answer it this way. I'm sure also that after answering that question, you will allow me also.
Go on. You have your time.
First. So I like to start with that question. I like to take my question from a ruling on one of the cases we went during this tribunal, and that is why I'll be careful to do A and B.
Right.
And in that ruling, it was stated that how would I, who is in Unit B, know what is happening in Unit Z? That means that number one, that I may have also have beaten the law that states that you shouldn't move on election day. Do you understand that? So I'm going to first start with Prince Lemchi, that was putting on suit, who is a member of the House of Assembly, who is representing me from my own place.
What's your place again?
Omawa, Ikure local government. And so he's representing me. So I want to start from him. And that assuming without conceding that I have lost my relevance in APC, I would not have lost it to the place where in my own constituency, in the people that I'm voting for, the person that's going to represent me, I wouldn't know whether he's a member of the APC. Prince Lemchi has never attended APC meeting, not a member of APC, does not have APC dues, is not, in fact, he fights us as a party member, as APC. Now, in all of them, I will say that as at when this thing was done, your question, as at when the whole of this defection saga, while Daniel was talking, I was looking at his uniform very well, the clothes he was putting on. It looks like age is telling on me. I wanted to know, because I wanted to know whether he was putting on a jersey, and I wanted to ask you, assuming that what he's putting on is a Man U jersey, why does that make him a player with Man U? Because he's on a national television, and he's on that clothes. It does not. And the question, interpretations of law is what the court tells us is interpretation. The legislator makes law, the executive executes the law, the court interprets the law. So when the court interprets the law to say that this man is still a member of the, even if I have come here, assuming without considering, that I have come here to say that they are members of the party, and the court has said no. What the court has said is what we believe. And because that is the law. Now I want to say that. And then secondly, is to also come down to what they were saying. Even going over to the PDP. Imagine when Nze was analyzing it. Oh, very fantastic one. Except that Nze missed something. Nze told us that what we voted that day was the party. In Nigerian law, it's not the party. We vote the individual and the party together. That is why a party will not be on the ballot except there's an individual. And an individual will not be on the ballot except there's a party. So we vote both. And so which means that the party must publish for us those who are voting before we now vote for the party. That's our law here. And so in that instance, the same party that should be saying no, this will have left us is the PDP, has gone to the court to say they are still our members, they have not left us. Because you see, the way I decamp from a political party as a non-assembly member, a non-government official, it's not the same thing they will. Because first they will have to resign from their own party before they cannot go. One of the things that I'm not trying to look at it, one of the things that Wike is holding against the PDP, in trying to defeat Wike, I'm not trying to defeat, is the fact that upon being called, even though he wanted the minister, I'm saying it on him, he wanted the minister, but upon being called as minister to work with the FCT, to work with the tribune, Wike wrote the party to say they asking me to go for minister, and the party said go, and then he went, and he had the two letters, so he went. So
the governor agreed, the governor wrote, agreeing, the South
wrote and agreed.
National wrote
and agreed. So he did not betray the party. It is that the party sent him to go there, either as a move or to represent them in the party. So the party consented by that letter. So that is what we say. So if you now come and say, is that an anti-party? You are the one who said the party has said we sent him. So this party has said no. These people didn't resign from us. The party you are saying that they went to said no. So all of you now became the PDP and the APC. The APP people now are the PDP and the APP, who should not say their members are not members. At best, if I was going to even advise them, but even though I've read through the constitution, that's why I can even say this, even though I would have said that. At best, what they would have gone to court against them was perjury. At best, was perjury, because that if they had gone to court to take an oath that they are defecting and they didn't do it, it is lying.
Because of the affidavit.
Because of the affidavit, at best. But now, I read through the perjury law. The perjury law says from when they did it to 90 days, if you do not go to consider against them, it's non and void. So you can't even go there, even I'm giving you the secret. That is what they would have done. But to say that they are members of that. But having said that, you put on an issue that this faction, not assembly, not faction, I hate to call that word, the three-man speaker, deputy and leader of a three-man committee liaising officers to the governor of Rivers State, to the legislative council, that they were both all suspended. But even before the courts, even before the whole of this people, they were suspended by the assembly that my governor went on the 8th of June to inaugurate. By the speaker that was sworn in, they were suspended. So they came from suspension. It's like somebody is in a remand home and coming from a remand home that will now be the police officer. They were suspended. So when this issue came, they gathered those who were suspended and made one speaker, made one deputy, made one whatever. And in the principle of zoning, assuming I'm even coming out that in the principle of zoning, the speaker is from Bonny, the deputy speaker is from Opopo. Then the majority leader is from Akoda West. In the spirit of zoning, can that hold? No. Martins Amegule is from the Ikore, the Rivers East. Then the deputy speaker is from Ogoni, Rivers East, Southeast. And then the leader, which was Edison, is from the Rivers West. I mean, that is the spirit of zoning. But apart from that, another question that would have been asked is that, assuming again, I have said it here times to that number, that all of them were dead, God forbid. Assuming again, all of them resigned, I mean the 27 lawmakers resigned, and they were all dead, God forbid again. The cardinal question to be asked is, does this 3 person constitute the one-third to so seek and take a decision as assembly member? The question is no. The constitution provides that in that kind of situation, they will write the National Assembly to legislate until 90 days through which they are going to now fill in the gap. So the governor who knows that is not taking his budget to the assembly that didn't exist. The court has said that also. And then secondly, again, I like to even ask people, why would an INEC take action on a letter that came from a non-existing body? In the eyes of the law, INEC does not see the man as speaker. He cannot take letters. Martins have written them. You people should go and beg Martins so that they won't declare the place vacant, because they will declare the place vacant. And INEC will come and conduct election, and my friends and my members of ASEU will go and conduct election in their constituency, and will win, and they will be there.
But you see, the truth is, once you also read what's the name now? This senator from Borno State, this popular senator from Borno State.
Was it Alin Dume?
Alin Dume.
Yeah.
Between Alin Dume and the Bukola Saraki-led House and Senate,
yes,
the Supreme Court declared that the Senate does not have the power to suspend a member. It is the people who elected him that have power to recall. And so, I'm coming. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. Because if we say they declare their seat vacant, it also needed to be tested in the court of law whether Martins Amehule has the power. Mm-hmm. Not Martins as a person.
Yeah,
whether the House, the Assembly at that time, has the power to so declare suspension to a member they never elected.
Okay.
I mean, they never elected to come to the House.
Okay.
Even though Senate still did it, not quite long, they did it to this other man from Bauchi State, this senator from Bauchi State, where the man said they were padding budget. This
Abdunige,
and they suspended it. But it was not right. But it doesn't mean they did it. But it was not right. So the question would also come that if that is also tested in court, they can also say, I'm just saying it here, they can also say that does the Martins Amehule led House of Assembly at that time had the power to suspend them, based on what the Supreme Court said during the Alin Dume suspension by the Bukola Saraki Senate.
You know, Daniel, what I would have thought is that we opened to the Constitution, because the Supreme Court cannot rule against the Constitution. In the disciplinary actions that will be taken by the Assembly, it is stated there. I read it myself in 152. I read it where in F they said, if you did not attend sitting for a minimum of 2/3.
No, I agree that.
So hold on, he is speaking of the
suspension.
Yes, on suspension.
On suspension now, on suspension, I do not have authority on that now. If the Supreme Court has said that, I'm just saying that they were suspended. The same way they also said there could be contact suspension. I think the court will have to look at that. But on declaring the office vacant, yes, the Constitution provided for a number of times you will have to sit. If you do not sit, that they will declare your seat vacant. It's not to the people, it's to the House that will do that. And so that's why I'm saying that we will now begin to go and do this. And look at, if I have a compound analysis of all she read, if you look at all of that she read, she also read that even when the court has said to the governor, and this is the language of the law, if I take you to court, Daniel, right now, that, for instance, I come to sit here, and then they say that I'm not supposed to sit here, and you take me to court, and the court rules that I should sit here, and you go and appeal, then you will be giving me that authority until the appeal rules otherwise.
Of course.
And then if appeal still says I should sit here, you will be giving me my right until the Supreme Court rules otherwise. And now look,
stay of execution.
Until there's a stay of execution. Now, right now, a Supreme Court, a court has said, and when people said, oh no, they withdrew. The language of withdrawing in cases is this. That you withdrew in a court case does not mean that the court will not rule.
No, of course.
People should understand that. That you withdrew. The language of withdrawal is that what I came ab initio, I withdraw from it. So the court will make a statement and say, okay, having withdrawn, this matter, these people is still
But you know it was deceptive.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know it was
I was not there.
You know, I was just calm.
No.
Listening to our analysis. Let me see where we're going
You are saying that
with
it was
this.
deceptive. The reason for withdrawing is that the people said you went to court to say that these people are no longer assembly member.
No,
Excuse me now. That you went to court to say they are no longer assembly member, and they said you should withdraw. And also withdrawing means that I'm withdrawing, they are still assembly member, and the court just helped you to announce it.
No. It was after they came back from the president.
That is what I'm saying. That the president said,
where they agreed that all parties should withdraw all court cases, and the governor and the state went and withdrew from that case.
yes.
And the country
Martin Samehule withdrew
went ahead.
only. No, Martin Samehule. Hold on. Martin Samehule withdrew only the impeachment notice. However, they did not withdraw their case.
And that's why I use the word
from
deceptive.
court. Now, in that instance,
No, because the court will still go ahead to give that judgment.
The court will go ahead.
If both had withdrawn, fine.
yes.
No.
If the president has said withdraw all cases,
You are using.
I believe that we understand the simple English word. Why would you come withdraw some and leave some?
It is my case.
You can react when.
No, let me
I'm the one reacting. I'm the one holding this mic. I didn't put my
Hold on,
mouth.
Hold on, Chizzy.
You are intimidating me.
I'm not. Hold on. Nze, react to that
Yes,
so that
if
can also.
according
have a
to
say.
the president, whom they call the father of the nation, then who should mediate over this crisis from their subject, from his subject, he said, go home, withdraw all cases from court. And Martin Samuel and his members of his team have also filed a case, which governor has filed and countered this, and they came back. President said, withdraw all cases relating to this matter. And the governor came, withdrew his own, and Samuel left his own and withdrew one. He withdrew one, that of impeachment, and left the other one. And just as Daniel said, it is quite deceptive. But look at where I had expected a man who acted as a father to continue his works, was that when this case continued being attended to by Justice Omotosho, he should have called them to order and said, why are you people continuing this thing that I asked you to stop? But he never did that. He waited until Omotosho gave judgment, which so many media people are now hinging on. And Omotosho gave that judgment.
You are taking over my destiny.
I'm not taking over. No, I'm just trying to respond that what happened was deceptive. So you people are building on deception, and let that be known by Nigerians. Amoyela and his men and you, Chizzy, are building on deception.
I like what he said.
You can't be good. That's not nice. Go ahead.
I like what he said. Resolution of reconciliation, so to say, had a 8-point item. It was just withdrawal. There are other points that were there. Represent this same budget to the assembly. Represent budget. Announce the date of election of the local government. All of those were items in that. And then the governor went to that he knows you cannot win to withdraw.
How did you know that he knows that he cannot win?
No,
Hold on.
Yes, and sent back the names of the commissioners.
No. He sent back the commissioners. That's what I'm saying. That month also went and withdrew the case on appropriation, on impeachment, isn't it? Which was you took me to court to remove me. I also came on impeachment to remove you, and so they both removed that. And you were saying that it was deceptive because you said, why did the court do that? Maybe they deceived the people. Do you also know, you weren't there. We're all looking at this thing. There was no time the court, you don't know the language of withdrawal. What was the reason for the withdrawal? These people are still assembly members. So the court just helped you to name the same thing that you were supposed to be.
I wish a person will respond to you on this. You now see that you are going away from it.
I am not going astray. I will interject when he's talking because I don't understand it now.
Go on, Chizzy.
Now I am saying that when the language of the withdrawal is these people are still assembly member, go back. You are still governor. Don't impeach him. Go back and bring back these people. So if you withdrew on that, if the court has ruled contrary to what you withdrew, that they're no longer assembly member. Then you went there, they said, okay, I have agreed that they are still assembly member. And the court went ahead to now give you the legal backing. So that all of you are, all of people like Nze who are supporting you, doesn't want you to be governor, who wants you to make mistakes and do all the wrong things in the constitution, will not be doing it. They will know that there is a legal thing. So you cannot come up to say, look, there is a court ruling on that, let's leave it. And they went ahead. Now, assuming also there's a deception, that because I wasn't there, I won't be somebody to look at the court and say, I'm not there. But there's a court ruling. And in that court ruling, in the spirit of the court ruling, as a legal entity, you are representing the law. You are elected by the law to stay there. And then you are supposed to go by the law, irrespective of whether you like the fates of the assembly or not. As a governor, that is what you are supposed to be doing. And so it is now, it is only when I sat down to listen to very well to Matamibuli, when they now said they called them, elders were calling them to ask them to you know what they have been on the budget. All of us will stand up and say, why? Why are you doing that? The court says, from the day the court mentioned that thing, and you have called them back, it means that you said whatever he has done is forgiven. So if you start now, you cannot do it again. On what premise will you be doing it? And but the man has told them that no.
The appeal said it's executive
rascality.
Rascality.
The appeal court said it's executive rascality. The appeal court also said that the appeal court held the governor in contempt of court and said that the governor has treated the judiciary and the court orders and judgment with utter disdain and put in the court.
Now,
and the appeal court also ruled that all the expenditures that has been made in Rivers State so far by the governor is illegal. And that they 20 to the law. By Edison, he apologies. It's unknown to the law. Now, in face of this, there comes another conundrum that probably all of you are not looking at. Now, according to the Constitution, right now, Nigeria is running a full cycle budget.
Yeah. And
according to the Constitution, the budget ought to be presented before the House, both national and state, 4 months to the new year, 4 months to the its implementation, so that the state houses of the National Assembly levels, the House of Reps, have bemoaned the late submission of the budget, and they've given the presidency 2 weeks to submit the 2025 budget, as it were. In Rivers State right now, the governor is speaking a different thing in face of the court judgment, and he's saying he's still going to represent Okojombo. And when you even look at the constitutional provision, the budget ought to be presented last month. I mean, the 2025 appropriation bill ought to be presented last month. And this is not the first time the governor is making this statement. You recall that even after the second appeal court, and Martin Samehule did a riot act kind of plenary against the governor and wrote to the governor listing out a list of constitutional infractions, and also told the governor to represent the budget. The governor came out and said that actually Rivers State is actually currently preparing the 2025 budget. Now, there appears to be a standoff between the governor, who is intent on, following what he wants, and governing with Okojombo-led House of Assembly faction. And then Martins Amehule, Rivers State House of Assembly, that is legally known to the law. What is the way forward? Daniel, let me ask you, what is the way forward? Because these two appear to
whether at the state level or at the national level, the houses power to extend the life of any budget. At a point in time, Nigeria, we're running a concurrent budget both for 2023 and 2024. At the federal level now, it was running on some particular project. It was running concurrently. Like I said before, you see, the legal issue will not resolve these issues. We still need to come back.
Political solution.
I'm telling you that political solution. Like he said, see, the speaker by the Court of Appeal today, he is saying he has given the governor, let's give him another chance. In other words, whatever that has happened before now is shut off. let's give him another chance to come before us and say we have presented this budget. And when you look at it, for example, you will not say that the scholarships that were paid to students of River State should be recorded. No, there are certain things that will be written off. Because it's a give and take. Don't forget.
Situation.
Don't forget, even at national level, it is done. When you have this constituency project, it's because the president brought certain things to be approved. So themselves too had certain things to go. It's always like that. They represent some certain persons. They represent certain geographical places. They want certain things there. And in all fairness, as those things been there, so this is how some of them take this and we give this. If that is not done, the governor must be ready to give so that he can get some. Anything outside that, if we rely on the legal issues, I tell you, because if you say that the man does not have a stand to challenge that issue at the Court of Appeal, would he have a stand to challenge it at the Supreme Court?
Now that's the problem. The Appeal Court has said you cannot approbate and reprobate.
Yes.
Which means you don't even have the legal standing to appeal the judgment of a Omotosho.
Exactly.
And now he says he's going to Supreme Court.
No, see, I want to.
The question will still be, what's the locus
See,
standing?
I want to believe that in all of this, you see, press statements will be issued. But I want to believe that when they come back to the inner room, you know, sometimes you look at certain issues. Can I win? If I do not win, what will be our stand before these guys? Can we close our eyes? There's no shame in something. And it's okay. Obeying while we have appealed, but obeying so that the state can run, obeying the Court of Appeal judgment. Please, this is the budget that we have been running on. And if you now say you want to now impeach the governor of that, people will rise to say, you asked the man to bring this budget before you, and the man has brought this budget before you. But I think that the legal issues will never solve this issue.
All right. We'll come back to, probably I'll ask Chizzy that question now with regards to the point you have raised. But Nze, I want to hear what you have to say about this. I know you feel very passionately about this issue.
It's not being passionate, it's just being realistic.
All right.
See, we believe in this normal saying that once bitten, twice shy. I listened very clearly to the argument of Daniel. You see that where we said, let's come back home, close our eyes to some certain issue. I am still standing on political solution to this issue and not legal, because if we continue like this, you find out that this matter will now having issue with what Daniel just said now, even though we might still swallow it and take it up, is that the first time it was this group of Amehule that took the matter to the presidency. And when they got there, the president gave them these points.
No. They weren't the one that took it. Let me correct you. You did when I was talking.
No, hold on.
No, I will not.
He was interjecting. Chizzy, make a correction.
No. They were not. It was the governor who ran to the president. So they took the matter to the president to tell you that I did not agree with him. Whether you shout or you make trouble, my belief is my belief, and I have to stand on it. So now, when the president gave them that rule, go back home, and decide on this.
You are using words that I do not like.
Withdraw your points.
Now, you are using words that it's my constitution. I will be using those words. I will not let you. You are using words that I do not like.
The governor
you are using words that whether I shout or say something, I don't like. You are exempting the organization. You are using a word that I do not like.
Don't use the words. Finish. What are the words?
Whether I shout or not. I'm only telling you the same thing you did when I was talking. And I just took that.
Can you not accept sorry? My governor said that he has kneeled down several times. Should I begin kneeling down to you now?
No, Nze, you're being sarcastic and not exception. He took offense at what you said. The right thing is just...
Have I not apologized?
No, you did not. You said, will you accept sorry? That is sarcastic. And hold on. You still went further to say that the governor said he has knelt down severally. Should I kneel down to you? That is sarcastic. if someone takes offense at what you have said, you do not further aggravate it by sarcasm.
Cheese is my friend. When we go out, we'll eat together. So leave that. I apologize. I apologize.
Very well.
Now, can I then go on?
Can go on?
Now, we see that when they returned, as I was saying then, the governor withdrew his case. These people started playing game. So, now that the governor has filed a stay of execution over the judgment of appeal court and have gone ahead to Supreme, engage on following the legal battle to the end. Who will suffer it? Rivers people. If Supreme Court should come up to say, okay, Amoyehule faction is right, governor faction is right, and they come back home, you see a different litigation springing up from the issue of defection and nation, whereas the people that are standing inside the ocean are using their saliva to wash hands. What I had expected, which I said before, that Amoyehule should sheath his sword, governor sheath your sword, FCT minister, because anything we talk about Amoyehule, it is all boiling down to FCT minister. So we know all these things. Come back home. Let us, just as Toeko suggested, let some men who have at least served this state come around, some elder statesmen, and have a round table discussion. Okay, what is the problem? Because even when Wike was asked about the problem, he said governor wanted to impeach whereas we didn't hear that. But being that as it may, let them come back together, have a round table discussion. All right, you, this, that, hold it. You, this, that, every other thing closed. Let every case be withdrawn for the interest and betterment of Rivers people.
All right. Chizi, when Daniel was speaking, Daniel raised an issue and he spoke about political solution. And there is also towing that angle. However, I want to ask you, in this whole brouhaha between the executive and the legislature, we have forgotten the Okojombo card that is playing out. Because, I mean, after we read the assembly declaring Okojombo seats vacant, Okojombo also hold their own factional plenary where they said they were going to take action against Martin Amoyehule. INEC has been dragged into this matter assistance. And INEC so far has always gone with the court judgment. And if court has affirmed Martin Amoyehule as the authentic speaker and that house as the authentic Rivers State House of Assembly, what do you think is going to happen? Considering the fact that Okojombo on their own, they are also making moves. Do you even see, because right now, everybody is trying to survive this whole thing, assistance. For me, this is a proxy war, and not just a proxy war, it's an existential crisis that is going on right now. So how do you see this issue being resolved with all the complexities surrounding it as we round up the show?
Yes, I like to say that, when we are talking about this political solution to it, I was almost frustrated to want to believe what Ayofaisho said, that the crisis is beginning to get to a situation where it may not be resolved the way we think it will be resolved. And the reason is simple. For instance, what he was saying about this, because if you give court judgment or if you don't give court judgment, imagine if Martins and everybody comes back and says, okay, there are no court judgment again, let's the first thing to do right now, the governor is the father of the state. It doesn't matter who is where right now. It is the governor that will give the first step. And what will be the first step? They represent the appropriation bill to the assembly. And then in their assembly, these three other persons call them back. They are members of the assembly. I'm representing to the assembly. He can call that meeting. And everybody will be on the side of the governor, including them. Look, these other three persons are members of the assembly. We elected them. The same way I'm representing it, let everything go down, begin to think about it, because none of us are there to know what happens or what not happen. But if not, I will tell you that sometimes I have believed on something. If we have to suffer it, let's suffer it, and because we are all learning. Now I know how to defect. Now I know how not to say somebody has not defected by the law. I'm beginning to learn that. Now I'm beginning to learn that if I'm the governor tomorrow, I will not take Rivers State for granted. Let me shock you. I'm saying it on national television. What this issue of taking the assembly for granted has been a recurrent decision, even by former governors. The difference being that, the difference being that your house is divided now, so your security is exposed. People will ask questions. That is why you need to know to quickly mend their house. When she was talking about the duration for submission of budget, I can tell you that. I said it before. Former governors will sit down and do everything, and then they bring it to budget, and then they pass it. That's because they have a relationship with them. Now, a governor must learn to have a relationship with his legislators. Not to begin to fight people who sees you as you are only their governor. They are also speaker. They are also legislators. They have their own right. So the first thing the governor will do now is to address River State. Say, River State, okay, say River State, here we are. The Court of Appeal has ruled that this assembly member, we are presenting our budget, let bygone. Everybody come back together, we'll begin to work together. Let the assembly go and impeach the governor, and let's look at it. They can't do that.
All right.
But if not, assembly impeach the governor. Impeach him.
All right, Daniel, we are already out of time. Okay. We are already out of time.
No, I just want to say that the governor said that nothing is too big to give for peace.
Good.
And I think this is a test of what he has said.
A test of integrity, that is a man of his words.
A test of what he has said. Let him match that word
with actions. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Nze, for coming. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you, Chizzy. For want of time, we have to close shop at this point. Thank you so much, our viewers. This is where we round it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Don't go away.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea. I will place economic stability and confidence. What the contenders are proper critical needs of this minister and the government. I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.